Next question.
I'm like, I have nothing to add.
Okay. Let's see.
We have surrender Dorothy.
Danielle, exactly. Danielle, we have from celebritybabies.com. What is the next step after detection using the HPV test? I guess I kind of answered that question. If you're 30 and over, you test positive, your doctor and your pap is fine, your doctor will have you come back in 6 months to a year. That's the important thing. Only if you test positive 2 years in a row, 2 times in a row, then that will mean that your doctor will be more vigilant about asking you to undergo the colposcopy, because sure enough there could be cell changes, such as the changes that were obviously missed with Marissa, that could signal a precancer that could then be treated with freezing, burning. They even kind of cut out those cells long before you need the hysterectomy and lose your ability to have children.
Yeah.
All right, we have Anonymous from knockedupcelebs.com. I love these names. They were able, I'm learning here today a lot too.
I've been on that site, Knocked Up Celebs. I was on that.
All right. They were able to take your egg from ovaries to have your baby. The eggs are okay then and cancer-free.
Yes. I was able to go, I had an egg retrieval is what it's called. So I took a bunch of medicine and then they were able to take out my eggs through an egg retrieval and then turn it into an embryo with my husband's sperm, and there you go, and then implant it in our surrogate. So yes, my eggs are cancer-free.
Yeah, in fact, even the issue of cancer really only comes up with women who are going through infertility, for example. There's been some question, but in terms of the cervical cancer, once the uterus is removed, she was assured, because they look under the microscope, they knew that you were in
and I didn't have to do radiation or chemotherapy, so I was very lucky. They were able to get the tumor out in my uterus and my cervix, and then all the margins were clean, so I was able to still have my ovaries. So yeah, they are my eggs, and that's how we did it.
And usually what they'll do, and I think you said they did it with you, they'll tack up the ovaries a little bit higher, because at the time of the surgery they don't know the extent of it, so that for the women who do need radiation, which is a very serious thing to go through, or chemotherapy, that's really when they need to protect the ovaries and get them as far away as possible. You were fortunate, but certainly you had the eggs left to make the baby. Nobody asked about the sex yet. Okay. We have from Danielle another question from Celebrity Babies. Did you also need to undergo chemotherapy and radiation?
No, I was very lucky.
All right. Cindy from Awesome Moms. What advice do you have for other women to protect themselves? Oh, I think we answered that question. Oh, I think we've got a little slowness on the gun over here. Okay. From Danielle. Whoops. From Danielle from Celebrity Babies. What is the chance for remission of cervical cancer? Should I answer that?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm hoping none. What is it?
It's virtually 100% for Marissa.
Right.
So, in remission, we don't even use quite the word for cervical cancer when you are cured.
Yeah.
Cervical cancer is a type of cancer that spreads locally, meaning it starts in the cervix and then can spread from there, so that if your doctor is able to make the diagnosis and remove your uterus, and in your case your cervix, in time, you're considered cured. Right. So we don't even use the word remission as we do for other cancers. You are...
my doctors have said I was cured.
I mean, there is one thing that comes up. Some women have asked me who have been diagnosed, do I need to be still checked for the virus? And certainly any woman who's been diagnosed, with cervical cancer, will obviously be checked and continue to get checked, for other tissues. But
I have to tell you, I've really taken my health seriously, and I go into my doctor. I don't miss an appointment. I get checked. Now I'm on my yearly checkups, but I've done them all. So yeah.
Aha, the next question. Rita, from Surrender Dorothy blog. Can you spell the name of that more intense test, colposcopy? Correct. It's spelled correctly. C-U-L-P-O-S-C-O-P-Y. And colposcopy means scope. That's a light looking into the culp, the sort of cervix, looking into the cervix. So it's a Latin term.
And they did that for me first, before my hysterectomy. They did that.
Right, and that was just done in your doctor's office.
Yeah.
Not a big deal.
Not a big deal at all.
And so that's where they get the biopsy. Yeah. It's under the colposcopy that they get the biopsy.
And it's in the office, and it was a piece of cake.
All right, we may have covered this. MotherGooseMouse.com. This is Julie. You may have already covered this, but if so, disregard. But who should have this test? Women of childbearing age, women who have already given birth, etc. Starting at what age and at what recurrence? Thanks, Julie. Well, what we know about the HPV test, again, young women are going to be exposed to the virus, so if you test young women for the virus, chances are it's a new infection, they haven't fought it off yet. So what the guidelines recommend, what the American Cancer Society, what we call ACOG, the OBGYN experts, they give women a choice of getting, starting at age 30, the HPV test along with the Pap test. Because by age 30, if a woman tests positive for the virus, there's a good chance that that virus is something she acquired a number of years earlier and her body has not yet fought it off. So the recommendations are at age 30 and above, start with the HPV test, ask your doctor, as you've reminded women, to get it at the same time as the Pap. It's a simple brush. They do it with the same cells, put it into liquid. It's easy. Insurance covers virtually uniformly the HPV test. And you then get your results. If the HPV test and the Pap test are both negative, which the majority of women will be negative, then we recommend every 3 years repeating it, just to be sure there's no change. From awesomemoms.com, this is Cindy. What made you decide to come forward and talk about your battle with cervical cancer?
Oh, for me, I felt like it would be unresponsible for me not to, because if anyone wants to listen to me and will go out and get the HPV test and really take care of their bodies, it seems like I have to be proactive. I pretty much had my whole life, it's been an uphill battle. I very much fight for everything I believe in, and this is something that I feel like it would be wrong for me to not talk about it, because there's so many people out there that need all this information that they're not getting. And if I can help anybody not go through what I'm going through, that's really why I did it.
And I think what comes up a lot, women will say, they've gone to the doctors, they've asked for the test,
Right.
and the doctors will say, you don't need it, your Pap tests have been fine. Or as doctors, we're creatures of habit. We've been doing the Pap test since 1949. It's really
Right.
been widespread. So the idea of adding this test is new. And the truth is, women need to be proactive because they want that 100% peace of mind. You can't have that, and you can't get that with the Pap test.